A consultation about excessive grappling in the penalty area and how to deal with it will take place at the end of the English Premier League season. And this was said by the referee chief, Howard Webb. Now, this and many more would be our major focus on today's episode of Sports Bus Stop. So, welcome on board. My name is Nengen Esademola, but you can call me the Sports Amazon. And as always, I also have Lisa, the Sports Talker TV. She's active and ready to dive into conversations today. Lisa, how are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good. I'm fine.
That's nice to hear. How has been your week?
Well, I've been under the weather a bit, but I'm good.
I'm glad you're better.
Yeah, actually.
So, guys, welcome on board once again. So today we have, Lisa, two major focus, two major discussions today. One is the incident that went on in the incident that happened rather in the Arsenal versus West Ham game that led to conversations about excessive grappling, most especially in the penalty area, you know, during set plays. And then another is how the hierarchy of Real Madrid is, you know, trying to handle the unrest that has plagued Real Madrid's dressing room this season. So please, give us your choice. Where do we start from?
We can start anywhere.
Anywhere.
Because these are two interesting topics.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's start from the conversation about the excessive grappling in the penalty area when it comes to set plays. Now, this happened in the Arsenal versus West Ham game. We all know that game carried title hopes for Arsenal and a relegation survival battle for West Ham. And it did not go the way of, should I say, West Ham. Although I know that, of course, Arsenal won that game, but currently Manchester City has closed the gap so well. But then again, there was a controversy in that game where VAR cancelled the goal that was scored by West Ham. And that is due to the fact that Pablo, a player of West Ham United, gripped the hands of David Raya in the penalty area, thereby creating pressure on David Raya not to be able to defend the ball for Arsenal in between the sticks. And it was so obvious. I think they took a bit of minutes to, you know, be able to check that, clarify that. Even the audio right now between the referee and VAR, it is all out, it's everywhere, both written and, you know, on audio. Now, looking at the incident that played out, Lisa, it is a foul any day, anytime. So that's not even a question. If whether it is a foul or not, it's a foul any day, anytime. But now my question is about the consistency of VAR. We've always talked about this throughout the season. So my question right now is, Lisa, since we're talking about the inconsistency, do you agree that Arsenal has fed off similar incidents?
I was about going
from the English Premier League this season, and it was awarded as goal. Let me even state about just two. Let me state two. The one against your club, Manchester United, where Saliba, he put so much pressure on Bayenda, and then again against Aston Villa, where what's his name now? Where
I think it's in my head. It should be Trossard.
No, it's not. It's not Trossard. It is. Although he jumped with it was Gabriel. Yes, Gabriel jumped with with Martinez. You know, he made contact with his arm, and then it was not deemed as a foul. So, do you agree that Arsenal has fed off similar situations in the league this season and was given to them as goal? And do you also, secondly, do you also agree that? Will you say that putting the incidents of Arsenal against United and Aston Villa, and then this one against this one with West Ham against Arsenal, do you think that it is not so serious if you place them side by side? Do you feel like the one Arsenal has committed during the season is not so serious?
See, you only named two incidents.
I know there was a particular one with City too.
Yes, so there have been lots of incidents where in the Arsenal City game, where if it should be either Declan or something, had the same altercation with Donnarumma too. So all through the season, right? I am not an Arsenal hater, but let's be very factual. All through the season, we've seen where Arsenal committed terrible fouls in the penalty areas and it was overlooked. There was no yellow card. There was no red card if the need be. There was no call for foul. There was nothing. The referee just said, play on.
Go on.
And there was no cancellation of goals. As well.
Goals were awarded.
Yeah, the goals were awarded. There was, in fact, in these situations, especially the Bayinda Saliba case, VAR did not check. There was no VAR check.
No pause for check.
Same thing with the Aston Villa Arsenal case. There was no VAR check as well. So I think the reason why a lot of people are having issues with this West Ham Arsenal game is the fact that, number one, this same scenario has played out in favor of Arsenal. So why did they pause to check, get a VAR check? Took lots of time, and at the end of the day, they cancelled the goal. So it's the inconsistency of refereeing for me, because it's not looking as though, you know what, we want Arsenal to win the league by any means possible. Arsenal has been stellar this season, but with these plenty scenarios that have been happening, right, it's going to dent their record of how they've, they've been, how do I say it now, for how they've worked back to back to win the season. If eventually they win the EPL, there are still going to be speckles of these issues around them. Say that, you don't forget that early into the season, they were called corner FCs, where they had lots of corners, some that were not guaranteed. Even in the West Ham Arsenal game, there was a part where the ball was already outside the field of play. It was played back inside by an Arsenal player. The referee did nothing about that. The picture is all over the internet. The fact that Trossard also had a very terrible, tackled two West Ham players in a very terrible way.
There were 5 fouls leading up to that incident. So
Arsenal committed lots of terrible fouls. Or are we going to talk about the Arsenal-Fulham game, where the hair of Calvin Bassey was dragged and nothing happened? So these are issues that has caused fans and a lot of people to say, what is really going on in the EPL? Why are they turning a blind eye to the fact that Arsenal players are committing this terrible foul? And now, when this foul is committed against Arsenal,
it is deemed as
as though everybody is not taking it very seriously. Because let's look at it. The David Raya incident in the West Ham
game,
if you check the picture, I'm not trying to be biased. Yes, he hit the hand, but I don't think it was intentional. But there were a lot of intentional ones that were done by Arsenal players, and nothing happened. This is the inconsistencies of the English Premier League and their refereeing system. I mean, come on. See, it's not because I'm a Manchester United fan. We will have our own grievances where there are lots of power committed against us. There will be no VAR check. It's just play on, no card, no call for fouls, no call for free kicks. There were times we were even denied penalties, clear penalties. There's a play on. So these are all inconsistent. It's not looking as though, you know what, this referee body are siding certain clubs against certain clubs. It's becoming an issue. And the fact that they are going to look into it at the end of the season so that there can be regulations and other laws into the new season is good. But why didn't they do that before the season started? That's another issue.
You know, it's much more pronounced during this season. But this has been an issue ever since.
Consistently.
Take for example, there was, I know that at a particular time, this kind of consultation had happened at a particular season when the season ended. And there was a little bit of tweak to the handball rules. And of course, this season, it has been so much into play because we've seen the increase of set plays in this season.
True.
Remember that the number of goals that teams have scored from set play this season has outnumbered that of last season. So it's now like this season it is becoming very obvious, very fresh to the face, and that's why, you know, many
of the errors that have been overlooked all through previous seasons. It's this season's lots of people are now beginning to, because number one.
Is it because the spotlight is now on Arsenal?
Yes, actually. Because Arsenal are in the spotlight, lots of people began to pay attention to many of the loopholes that were exploited previously in other seasons by clubs and players in the field of play. And because a lot of people, you know, there are lots of people who, in a percentage of 100, let's be this, 70% minus Arsenal fans are hate watching. So when many of these slightest mistakes happen, they will definitely pick it out. They will definitely talk about it and say, you know what, this happened, this happened, this happened. So why is this happening in favor of this team? Why didn't they do this, take this same decision in favor of this team? And you know that if that game had ended 1-1, Arsenal's hope for the title race would have diminished, because now Man City defeated Crystal Palace, even though they are closing the gap, even though Arsenal, they have not, we know they are not out of the danger zone, because anything can happen right now in the last 2 games or 2-3 games that they have remaining. But the issue is this. I think it's time the EPL need to look into many of these plenty issues that have been parading the league. This has been a talk since 2009, 10, 11, 12, all through the years, over a decade, all through the years, lots of complaints are becoming. I think they need to sit down at the end of the season, because the season is almost coming to an end, and they need to sit and they need to look into these many loopholes and errors.
They're going to get opinions from club captains, coaches.
They should also get opinions from fans too, because even if club captains, coaches, and management talk about it, I think the fans are in a better position to see many of these things that are happening, because they are the ones that are watching the game live. They are the ones that are watching it at home on screen, and they are the ones that pay close attention to many of these errors. Although we know that some of them can be sentimental, but then again, they should seek opinions from everybody and just come up with something that will make the EPL clean, for Christ's sake.
Well, let's just see how that will go. But if now maybe referee for don't they share yellow cards. As I don't see number 1 foul, I don't give you yellow card, take and guide first. But second person take yellow card, so that everybody will not say, okay.
No, but you know that but you know that in that Arsenal West Ham game, right? 4 Arsenal players were supposed to be awarded yellow cards.
That's what I'm saying. I said 5 fouls led up to that particular incident. Before
Trossard was supposed to have at least 2 yellow cards, because he was playing rugby. It's not football. That guy just a jump player. He just a tackle player.
I said, for they give yellow card one by one. Take guide first.
I'm going to say you don't be referee.
So that everybody will come down and say, even like say red card, even come aside from this thing. So let everybody just respect themselves and not do too much. But then again, of course, that is one of the issues that the refereeing, VAR, they have been fighting all throughout this season of the English Premier League. Inconsistency. And if you don't know, let me even drag your minds back to the likes of Tony Pulis of Stoke City, the likes of Sam Allardyce, aka Big Sam of Bolton Wanderers. See, these were some of the names that pioneered set plays, set piece. But when you look at how Sam Allardyce did his own was more, his approach was like data-led. He would position players into those areas where the ball has the highest chance of landing. Although, yes, there was a bit of crowd, but, it was not as pronounced as it is now. Because you can actually say that some teams, some managers, the United, the City, the Arsenal, they're now using the playbooks of Sam Allardyce and the rest of them. But then again, it's now much more pronounced because of the inconsistencies that has plagued the league previous seasons and then this season. So hopefully, the referee chief, who is Howard Webb, will come together with the club captains, coaches, fans, and the likes to be able to see how they can put in something, like Lisa has already stated, a regulation of some sort, so that next season we can see improvement when it comes to consistency for VAR.
This many inconsistencies is just denting the status of the EPL.
But do you agree it can never be perfect?
See, no league is perfect actually, but we know it can never be perfect, but at least, in the imperfections, right? At least let's see a bit of decorum and steez. Let me use Gen Z language, steez. So let's see that. We know talk Nigerian league or any league, there are lots of imperfections, but then again, we should see a bit of composure and class. I mean, the EPL is loved because of the somewhat class and vibe it brings to people around the world. So that should be consistent. EPL should not go on and be like La Liga. Amen? Amen.
All right, before we call it a wrap on this episode of Sports Bus Stop, we have to talk about Real Madrid. We have to talk about the hierarchy. We have to talk about, last week we talked about the unrest in the dressing room with Kylian Mbappe. Yes, it's still ongoing with Kylian Mbappe, with the likes of Federico Valverde and Tchouaméni being fined 50,000 euros each for fighting. Two fighters, no opener. For fighting. That is what has been going on. That's what has plagued Real Madrid for the better part of the season, towards the end, of course, of the season. Now, Real Madrid's hierarchy is saying we want to handle this situation. And we think that one candidate stands out, which is Jose Mourinho. Talks are currently ongoing, and they want to be able to get Jose Mourinho as the next head coach of Real Madrid.
The chosen one.
Let me even just put a little bit of context if you don't understand what she means by the crazy one. Now, Jose Mourinho is a very strong figure when it comes to coaching in football.
Yeah.
He has a very strong personality. That's why she's like the crazy one. He has a very strong personality. Jose Mourinho is somebody who demands discipline from players, demands authority. He also demands respect.
Mourinho
coached Real Madrid between 2010, 2013, won the La Liga, won the Copa del Rey, won the Spanish Super Cup, and then he moved to, I think, Chelsea. Yes, Chelsea, where he won one out of the 3 Premier League titles that he has. I think he won the EFL with them and the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Oga moved to Manchester United. I'm giving you so that you will know the background of this man.
Cup with us and
exactly. The man, he won the Europa. I think he won the Europa.
He won the Europa.
Yes, the FA Cup. And then he had a very short spell at Tottenham Hotspur before he moved to Fenerbahce, and then finally
he coached Ajax at a point.
At a point?
Yeah,
okay.
Did.
And then finally he moved to Benfica. And right now, Real Madrid's hierarchy, the management is saying that Jose Mourinho is the man for this job.
Actually,
he's the man to calm things down in Real Madrid. So I want to ask you, do you agree that Jose Mourinho is the solution to the problems in Real Madrid? And you know, we've just talked about the fact that he has a very strong personality, rather.
Yeah.
So do you think that at some point there is going to be a personality clash between Jose Mourinho, the players at the club, and the hierarchy?
Okay, so let's go back to when he was coach in Real Madrid. I don't think the players now in Real Madrid had issues compared to the team he coached in 2013. There were the Karim Benzema's there. I think at the point Gareth Bale was there. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in his time. But there was the Karim Benzema. There were, Mourinho is one coach that when he demands something, he does it.
And he gets it.
And if you misbehave, he disciplines you.
He calls you out. He's not one to say...
I called him the crazy one because I followed his coaching career in Chelsea. There were times where he had issues with the like of DJ Drogba because Drogba was a player under
Drogba
him.
Sees him as a father figure.
Yeah. There was a time DJ Drogba misbehaved, and I remember that for almost half of the season, Drogba will always come into play 10 minutes to the end of the game.
You go bench, you go tire.
So even at a point, Jose Mourinho is this kind of coach that demands discipline. So the likes of Valverde, Tchouaméni, Rudiger, Mbappe, you see Mbappe, Vinicius Junior. Once Jose Mourinho calls, you see that ego, because I think what is parading the Real Madrid team right now is this individualistic ego. This individualistic mindset of I'm better than you, I'm a very good player, for example.
And they wouldn't want to play as a team.
Yeah, so, for example, let me use Mbappe as an example. Real Madrid has always wanted Mbappe for years before he finally came to PSG.
See, I'm sorry to cut you. Fiorentina Perez, he says... I think this was an interview I read sometime. Was it yesterday or so? He says, if there is a star player somewhere, I will get it.
Actually, he got Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United. Hello.
A lot of big names.
So they've wanted Mbappe for years. Now, Mbappe came feeling as though he's the special one.
When he has been there.
Yeah, actually.
See the problem.
So there's this mindset of, you know what, I'm better than you. Don't forget that the likes of Asensio were in Real Madrid. Luka Modric, they were under Jose Mourinho at a point, and Mourinho commanded discipline. See, at this point, this team needs a coach that does, they look anybody face. And that's what I would say. Mourinho. Because he's not sentimental. Jose Mourinho is not a sentimental coach. See him at Manchester United. He did a lot of work, even though at a point he has a loud mouth. I call him crazy because in conferences, pre-match conferences, post-match conferences, he said if management misbehave, they go collect. If player misbehave, they go collect. If medical team misbehave, they go collect. If coaching team misbehave, they go collect. Jose Mourinho is not afraid of anybody because he feels that he has nothing to lose because he's one that works for excellence.
Somebody that hanged his boots at the age of 24.
So see,
look your face.
See, right now, I want Jose Mourinho to come. Off camera, I've said it before that the only coaches that can work with this team right now is the like of Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, and Zinedine Zidane is another hardcore coach too. So if Mourinho comes, he's going to bring a semblance of how do I say it now, discipline and sense, because many of the players right now, they don't get sense. Yes, they don't get sense. It was in his time, there was an issue. You see the same issue that happened between Valverde and Tchouaméni. Let's not forget that Pepe had that issue with a player too, under Jose Mourinho in the dressing room. Now, he not do anything. If they say now Pepe get that issue, Pepe for beat Percy, Pepe will get Pepe body. But the thing is, there was a sense of discipline and command in the dressing room. That's what they need right now. They don't respect their coach as it is now.
Abeloa. That one.
They don't respect it. And in fact, he doesn't have a grip of the dressing room. He doesn't have a grip on the player. Imagine videos circulating online on Rudiger. Slapping Carreras in the field of a training ground. Slapping Mbappe was laughing. Other players were laughing as he was bullying. It's not even a player, a member of staff. Who does that? That should earn him a disciplinary measure. If not, at least chop bench for like 2 matches. Also, Mourinho can do that because say you two do sit down.
So for you, he's the man for the job.
Yes, he's the man for the job right now. I know his spell is not going to be long because when he comes, they are not just to bring discipline. They are going to expect him to win trophies and do all that. The pressure is going to be much, but he should first of all bring a semblance of unity and teach them what's discipline, because all these young people, their head now, they are spike. They run up and down. Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, even the Valverde. I even heard that clubs are interested in buying him. Warrior. But then again, it should come because they need to understand what it means to be a footballer. So
footballer to be a football team.
Yes, football team and a football player on and off the pitch. Exactly. Because many of them, they don't know what it means to be a football player on the pitch and off the pitch. Because if you see them, they are this, then off the pitch, they are this. So also Mourinho, I think he will bring a sense of oneness to the team and teach them how to be team players and disciplined at the same time.
Exactly. Last week when we were talking about this whole saga with Mbappe and the likes and the unrest in the dressing room, you asked me if the hierarchy will be under pressure to make a decision in a hurry because of how fans have gone so far with the petition. And I told you that the hierarchy, they know what they are into. Because when Perez came out and said recently any star player anywhere, I will sign him. So that, that made me go back to remember our former discussion where I told you they can never be in a hurry to make any decision. And I think they're handling it well. Yeah. I think they're handling it in the best possible way because they know that Real Madrid has performed below expectations. No. And so they want to regain their identity, the
Madrid
authority.
Is not the Madrid that everybody knows.
The control.
They are below. They are
the hierarchy, exactly, they know what they are doing. Now, you also talked about team ego and how everybody is just individualistic in the team. Yeah. Let me even take your mind back to PSG. You know, PSG, the likes of PSG, Real Madrid, they were both in the Galacticos era where they like signing stars. Anything that is blinging like this, talent, just bring them into the team. But see what the management did with PSG. They told them, see, bro, we are cutting out from this Galacticos era where we'll just be signing big names. And look at how far PSG has come.
Yeah.
From an unbalanced team filled with ego, from being financially unstable, right now, look at what Luis Enrique is doing with the team. In fact, they play collectively.
Yes.
This PSG was a team that were very inconsistent when it comes to the UEFA Champions League. And look at them now. They won it last season. They are into the finals again. Luis Enrique is doing something good. But it started from the management, knowing that, bros, if we continue in this Galacticos era thing, it's not gonna work.
So I think the only hurdle for Jose Mourinho is if the management does not support his decisions. Because I am very positive.
Even before this, I read somewhere that Jose Mourinho is already giving terms and conditions to the hierarchy. He's saying that he's not going to tolerate any interference with discipline, with the dressing room and his lineups.
And apart from that, I even saw somewhere where somebody said, I think Jose Mourinho has sent a list of players he's going to discard from the team. So if the management gives him a chance for the next 2-3 seasons, Real Madrid is going to be back to their glory days, because right now, I don't even know what we are looking at right now. I don't even know what we are looking at right now. But if Jose Mourinho should come there, I guess he's going to offload the likes of Rudiger out of the team. We might even be surprised that he might send Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. out of the team.
Mbappe will not go anywhere.
Even though they're not want to go, he goes, okay, you don't want to go. I go give you out on loan. You go chop bet until you agree to go on loan. But I just feel that Jose Mourinho, when he comes, he's going to weed.
He's going to bring structure.
Yeah, structure and prune the team. Take out the players he feels are not needed. Bring in the players he feels are needed. And that's it.
Exactly. And so our fingers are crossed. Let's see what goes on concerning Real Madrid and bringing in their sole candidate, who is Jose Mourinho, as their next head coach. Now, before we call it a wrap, here is to say a big congratulations to the likes of Toby Amusa, Sade Olatoye, the likes of Divine Oladipo, who are currently in the 2026 African Athletics Championship, currently going on in Ghana. Toby Amusa won us a gold in the 100 meters hurdles. Sade, I think Sade got a silver in the hammer throw. And then there is a name, Divine Oladipo, in the women's discus. Now, this girl said, this girl switched from Great Britain to Nigeria. And she got a silver medal in this particular at the African Athletics Championship. So I think these are some of the things that we love.
We love to see and hear. Exactly. Because actually Nigerians are patriotic. If the system works right, we have lots of talent.
I'm telling you.
They are raw talent.
Talent is not our problem.
Talent is not our problem. We just need a working system, especially in the sporting community. Just give us a working system and you see Nigeria doing wonders.
Of course, we are going to really flourish. And with that, we've come to the end of this particular episode of Sports Bus Stop. Thank you so much for sticking with us all throughout. And please, we want to know your thoughts concerning our discussions today. Do you think that Real Madrid is going through the right track of bringing in Jose Mourinho as their next head coach to settle whatever is going on in the dressing room and in the club in general? And also, we talked about the excessive grappling in the penalty area, most especially in the English Premier League. What do you think can be done to be able to curb this going into next season? We're expecting you to share your thoughts and your opinions in the comments section. And do not worry, we're definitely going to read it out in our very next episode. And with that, my name is Nengi Enes Ademola, but you can call me the Sports Amazon. Thank you so much for watching and happy weekend.
And I am Lisa, your Sports Talker team. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.